Tag TV and Tag Radio. Be seen and heard by both technology users and technology producers throughout the state of Georgia and around the world. Low cost, big benefits, powerhouse online branded video and audio has arrived. Tag TV, Tag Radio, there's a lot more to know. The 2013 Impact Award nomination deadline is April the 30th. That's right, Impact Award 2013 nomination deadline submission, April the 30th. Each year, the Technology Association of Georgia and the Southeast Software Association recognize companies and their teams who have demonstrated outstanding leadership in bringing new technology solutions to the market. The TAG SSA Impact Award winners have built outstanding software solutions that deliver a significantly positive impact on both customers and the business community. While nomination deadline is days away, you can still enter, but you must act now. Categories include technology solutions provider, independent software vendor, corporate internal software development, a special Where Georgia Leads category for information security software, and the coveted Emerging Megatrends recognition for early-stage breakthrough software solutions. Greetings, everyone. It's Friday, April 26, 2013, and this is a special deadline alert and TAG Tech Talk advisory on the upcoming TAG SSA Impact Awards with Technology Association of Georgia President Tino Mantella. While nomination deadline is April 30th, be sure to mark your calendars for the big award ceremony to be held at Margiano's Buckhead May 30th. Special keynote speaker will be Airwatch Chairman Alan DeBerry. Up to the Impact Awards Special Advisory Tech Talk, Tino speaks with 2012 Impact Award Emerging Megatrends winner Bob Klein, COO of Rately. Rately is a social merchandising platform that just may be the new game changer in retailing. Bob has spent his career working with Fortune 500 firms like DHL, Caterpillar, and Siemens, implementing new technologies. Bob led Siemens' implementation of e-commerce on IBM's WebSphere commerce site. He also was instrumental in the company's SAP implementation and worked closely with R&D as a product lifecycle management role at Siemens. Deadline alert, Impact Award nominations must be submitted by April 30th, and mark your calendars for the May 30th awards event as Tino Tech Talks Emerging Megatrends with 2012 TAG SSA Impact Award winner, COO of Rately, Bob Klein. This edition of Tech Talk is brought to you by GlobalSpeak.com, new media consultants, corporate video and audio communications, video and audio production and distribution, live and virtual event production. Tag TV and Tag Radio is a service of GlobalSpeak.com, creatively delivering powerful marketing, video, and audio solutions.
Bob, thank you for joining me on Tech Talk.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the program, Tino.
So you guys were one of the big award winners at our SSA Impact Awards, and we're getting ready to launch those again. I know we've got an unbelievable number of nominations already, over 100 as I understand it, but there's still time to apply, and we thought it'd be a smart idea to talk to one of the winning companies and see what makes you guys tick. And I was at the event and quite impressed with what you guys are doing. So why don't we start out? Many of our listeners will know about Rately, but some will not. So tell us a little bit about the company.
Sure. Rately is actually a company and a product, software as a service, really a social merchandising platform that lets retailers and merchants create and merchandise compelling product assortments in social media and on e-commerce sites.
Okay, and the retail. In fact, we're this past week we've kicked off a retail society, our 32nd society. So we certainly see the metropolitan Atlanta area as one of the key places to drive some of this technology. So you guys are in the sweet spot in an area that's actually growing. So what made you think of this company, and how do you impact the need? I guess a better way to say it is, what is the need that you're addressing in respect to the work that you do?
Right. Well, really, we see Rately as part of the game-changing aspect of it is really for most retailers, that are in the e-commerce space. And let me back up just a little bit. We've done a lot of work in the e-commerce sphere, and we're really looking to go, take things up another level. And a lot of the way e-commerce works for retailers, it's very product focused, and there's not a lot of opportunity for merchandising online. So we saw an opportunity to create a platform that would help retailers do that. And so it's more than just, in a way, think about the regular retail environment. Let's say it's apparel. If you go in and see what's on the mannequin, who's putting together the outfits and the collections of products that people, want to see and buy. Well, online, that doesn't really exist. So in a way, we wanted to give some tools to retailers to improve the online shopping experience and kind of moving to the next stage of things of in a way, connecting the online experience to the in-store experience. So we might be a little bit early, but it's a lot of fun, and it kind of dovetails a bit with how people are engaging with products, online and in-store, and then throw in the mobile experience. There's a lot of exciting trends there around retail, and we're just working on tools that we think that are going to be useful.
Well, you mentioned mobile, and I was going to go there next. We certainly hear talking a lot of places I guess you can do this already, but you take your mobile device and let's use like a QR code or some way you can, scan over the mannequin, if you will, and it's going to give you information about whatever the product is. Are you guys into that space as well?
Well, it doesn't work quite that way. It's really more of starting with the online experience first. Okay. So it allows you to put together collections or assortments based on what's happening, based on the online, store. So we're doing some pilots with some local retailers, but I guess it's the way to think about it is this is the next stage of the mannequin where, almost like puzzle pieces where you want to be able to put together outfits or collections or things that work and then try them out. So in a way, a lot of people go in and buy what's off the mannequin, but you don't really get that in the online experience.
Right.
And the other thing is, once you take the time to put an outfit together, how do you know what sells and what doesn't, or why are certain things put together? A long time ago, there's something called Garanimals for little kids, which let you put together an outfit. So we're missing some of those tools, and it's what people do today already in store. So when somebody comes in to a retail store, the person who works there should help them put together an outfit that works. And that's done over and over again. And we're just saying, how do we take that and bring that experience online? And then once you create an asset like that, how do you use that and to drive traffic back to the store? And I'm not sure I'm doing that justice, but it's an interesting kind of layer on top of e-commerce. And that greatly does work with mobile e-commerce since it's a responsive application, right? A responsive design site, and so it can work with almost really any e-commerce store that's out there.
So this is interesting, and I think our listeners would certainly understand what you're saying there in terms of being online and mixing and matching, putting the pieces together for whatever they're looking for, whether it be clothing or tools, I guess, or whatever might be the particular topic. Have you been driving this new technology, or it might be called a disruptive technology, or is this technology that the retailers are telling you, hey, this is a real need, can you fill that? How did you come about being at the point you are today?
Well, I think it's understanding the tools that the retailers have today. A lot of those start from the e-commerce applications, so like Demandware and WebSphere and ATG, all these big e-commerce software applications that a lot of retailers are using, and then understanding what's there, what kind of tools they come with, and realizing that this is a bit of a gap of, okay, these are great at kind of creating new products and setting them up and managing some of the complexity around pricing and things like that, but we kind of step over into what I would call visual social merchandising, right? So most of these e-commerce stores are not really integrated with social media. They don't really publish. They're not as focused on, maybe making a selection of a product by color, right? So they're not oriented around photography. They're oriented around product data, right, and pricing data. So that's how they work. And so we saw an opportunity where, okay, how do you kind of use social media and social engagement with great photography to drive traffic? Because, people buy things off the mannequin. They need help putting things together, but you go into most stores and you see product after product after product, and it's hard to put them together. So if you look at most big online stores, if I pick Nordstrom's or Brooks Brothers or any of these stores, they're selling looks today. So they sell kind of collections or outfits that are already put together, but they don't really have a tool to manage that for them. And we think that's an asset. Once somebody takes the time to put together something that looks great, how do I use that everywhere? Right? How do I use that online and in store and in social media and say, hey, this is a great outfit, this would be a great thing for you to buy, and basically you can also try and increase average order value for retailers. So every time I have an outfit, should I have it with a pair of shoes or certain accessories, things like that. So we want to kind of bring a bit of a science to how that's managed today. And right now, our understanding is with most retailers, there's not a kind of rigor around how they manage looks and kind of collections. It's really, it's kind of the way they've always done it, right? I mean, the mannequins have been around hundreds of years,
right? And
they just put something on there because it looks good,
right? And your in-store experiences. So I go to a men's store every once in a while to buy a suit and go into the dressing room and try it on. By the time I'm out, there's like 6 ties waiting for me and several shirts and whatever else is going to match, whether I ask for them or not. But it sounds like that's what you're doing as well. It could be an upsell to say, just start showing them different kinds of pieces of clothing or accessories, that sort of thing. So that's part of what you're doing as well, right?
Right, and they know, most retailers. I mean, some of that information is trapped in in analytics. So it's also you're buying a nice outfit, it's going home in the bag. How do we take that information and use that too? How do I put together outfits and see trends? What's happening? Purple's in, and people are putting together outfits that have purple in it, or different colors and different styles. All that matters. It's easier to kind of think about it as just apparel, but there are other applications too. So it's a fun area. It uses a lot of complexity around product information and different e-commerce platforms, and I think it's a chance to create a better experience in e-commerce online. And I also think some of this is needed in the store because there's maybe in those really those good men's departments, Tina, you'll find somebody to help you and pick out all those matching ties, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the stores you go into these days, there's nobody there to help you.
Well, that's true.
And you're happy to get any kind of guidance that you can.
Right.
So that's a little bit of.
Well, I was curious. One of the things you mentioned is just it goes beyond clothing. So just to kind of bring to life for the people out here listening, because who knows, we generally people have visit your website in terms of different opportunities. But how about like in an area, let's say interior decorating or something like that? Are you looking at broadly, so people are going to look at how to accessorize a room or what have you, or is that not where you would be headed?
No, absolutely. And it's so maybe you have a certain color palette you're trying to pull together. So even people in the interior furnishings world are pulling together elements to create a collection or a look. And actually, one of our pilot customers is in this kind of interior design business, and The other thing that's happening here is, at the same time, you're creating these kind of merchandising assets. It's important for retailers to be thinking about, kind of serving up those things that they know that you like, right? And this is another piece of Rately, and we don't really talk that much about it here, but it gets to the one-to-one, messaging challenge of, okay, I know that this user likes these kinds of things or this color palette, or I know something about the user. How do I provide them an experience that's tailored to them? And you see this a lot of times on some other sites, whether it's in emails from Pinterest or of course Amazon does a good bit of this in terms of its recommendation engine.
Right.
But it's taking that information as you shop and holding on to it, and then coming back and reminding you and say, hey, there are some new things here, or there's some outfits that we think you would like based on things that you purchased before, or how you've interacted with us before. So anyway, that's a different kind of feature. But to your earlier point, I think there are other applications outside of apparel, and there are probably some that we haven't even thought about. And it's we kind of take merchandising for granted. At least we did, and I think it's a way to bring, for merchants who are serious, to kind of take their skill set and apply it online, kind of regardless of what the product is.
Well, we're just about out of time, but I know you mentioned this as a megatrend, and I think this is how you're kind of describing it. Would you say that this is really going to be the way of the future in terms of how people will be making some of their decisions in terms of purchasing?
Absolutely, and we really appreciated the recognition from SSA with the Impact Awards and TAG. It was, it meant a lot to us. Sometimes we felt like as a company we're just kind of slaving away and nobody noticed. So it was certainly great to be noticed, and it meant a lot to us. And in terms of megatrends, we really see that there's going to be this ongoing improvement and enhancement of the online buying experience and shopping experience. Not just buying. It's not just the transaction of purchase. It's help me find the right product for me. There's so many products out there. There's so much choice. How do I make the best decision for me? And, offline and online retailers, they need the tools to help communicate with their customers and prospects. And we see, this commerce world's really coming together. We used to talk about offline commerce and online commerce, and right now it all feels like online, especially with the mobile phone. So, the decision point starts online, and sometimes it goes offline into a retail store, and goes back online. It's back and forth. So, in terms of a megatrend, and we see a real evolution, a revolution coming in the way people purchase and track and shop, how they interact with the things that they buy. And we'd like to think that, Rately helps bring a little bit more fun back to shopping. And it needs to be fun and engaging and, something that you look forward to. And at a minimum, I guess another side is for some, it's how to make it really efficient and effective. How do I improve upon what's out there today, where it's a bit bewildering for most of us to go online and buy. So it's very early stages, but we certainly see it evolving quickly over the next couple of years.
So the SSA Impact Awards are coming up. Next week will be the final week to put in your nomination. So if you're interested in what you heard and want to participate in this, maybe you too can be a winner. So, Bob, thanks so much for participating today on TAG Radio, and look forward to continuing to hear the great things that are happening at Rately.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you so much. I enjoyed participating.